I have a to-do list of video responses that I've been meaning to make, that I have told people I would be making. And so I am holding myself accountable to you all by saying that this week, starting Monday, September 20th through Friday, I will be putting up one VR each day on my channel. So 5 days, 5 VRs, so that I set my ass down and actually film these responses. And of course I want to. It's a lot of fun, right? And I love me some video responses. And so here we go. First video response is to #NotMyTarotAesthetic. And this is from Mixtress Ray. Of course, I will leave her video. And it's basically just a tag talking about decks that you wouldn't have thought you would connect with because aesthetically, they're not your thing. Aesthetically, you wouldn't initially have thought you would vibe with the art, and yet you find that some of these decks are your favorites, or you work with them often and you enjoy having them in your collection. So let me first start off with, well, this one I'm not going to say too much on because actually I did a video a while back talking about this being, usually not my thing, something like that. I named the video something to that effect. And so I talked about this deck, which is the Terra de la Nuit, and the fact that, this aesthetically would not have been something that I thought would resonate. The kind of photo manipulation, the kind of, glamour shot art or aesthetic, very cosplay. And yet, I really enjoy working with this deck. I think it gives me great readings. And, no offense to artists. Yeah, so in my opinion, some of these images certainly border on over the top, a little bit cheesy, but I like it. It's just something I can't explain. I just, I find new little details, and it's kind of actually stretched my boundaries of reading tarot, in that this is the kind of deck where I believe it was all pre-existing artwork that was then made into a deck, but it doesn't have the typical depictions, and you don't see all the cups in the cards or the pentacles and whatnot. And so you rely on other cues to help you. So that is that. And I said I wasn't going to talk about it too much, and I ended up talking about it more than I wanted to, but there you go. First one. Second one is the Everyday Witch Tarot. And I've talked about this one too. This is, so I like cartoon art. I like cute. I like cute and creepy. However, this style of cartoon graphic is not quite my aesthetic. And so I just wasn't sure about this one. But I have grown to obviously love the deck. If you've been on my channel for any amount of time, that this is one of my ride or die decks, one of my tried and true. And so, the messages are so clear from this deck. I think this is true for a lot of decks, maybe, where it might not be your aesthetic, but if you actually take the time to get to know the deck, and I think, as Mixtress Ray herself at one point said, you don't have really any high expectations. You don't have these lofty goals with these decks. It's just, you're curious about them, and then they pleasantly surprise you. And so I feel like all of these decks have been that experience for me. So the next one, this is the Guild Terra, and this is the one that I am working with currently. And once again, I have been having trouble trying to describe this art. It's, I don't know, it's a little weird to me. I don't know. The faces are a bit weird. But anyway, so again, not something that I would have gravitated toward, but I have been taking the time to get to know this deck. I think that it will be more of a slow burn. So far, I've been enjoying it. Once again, kind of stretching the way I use tarot, in that these pips are, for the most part, just kind of like Arabic numerals with a keyword. So yeah, finally we have the Dame Fortune's Wheel Tarot, which is this interesting deck that I had never heard of before. It's like a fully illustrated Marseille deck, pretty much. So you have the majors that are influenced by Marseille or keep to the Marseille tradition, but then the suits, and I think even the courts, can't remember. Anyway, those are based off of this cartomancer from 17th century. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. His name is Atea, Jean-Baptiste Eliette, his real name. And it's just a different system than what I'm used to. So this for me has been more of a study deck. I've been working with this a lot as a study deck to get to know the system. And while certainly these kind of historical illustrations, these kind of Marseille type historical looking decks are usually not my aesthetic, I have been really enjoying just learning about this deck. I feel like, all these decks have been just different ways for me to experiment with tarot, to further evolve my learning and studying with tarot. So it's always so interesting. Once again, like these decks that you wouldn't have thought would have made such an impact or had an influence, no matter how large or small, and yet they do help to evolve your practice of tarot, or help you to find surprise enjoyment in the practice of tarot. So that is it for me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I will have another one up for you tomorrow. All right, talk to you later. Take care.